Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here and welcome to B-Ball Breakdown. A little shout out to my high school, Latin. But let's talk a little bit about the Pacers and the Heat from today, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals, because it was very shocking to everybody involved how well the Pacers did on offense. So I'm going to show you some of the issues that the Heat had on defense, but also what the Pacers were trying to do on offense conceptually to get those shots to go down. Earlier this year, we did a blueprint on how to break down the Heat defense, and the short roll is the main component. By inviting the Heat to aggressively double team, the Pacers can send the screener to the free throw line to release pressure. David West sets a high ball screen on top, and his man LeBron James comes up high to hedge and force the ball handler further out. No one covers West rolling to the hoop in the middle, and Lance fires a quick pass. West knows what to do with it that close to the hoop. Here's another version of the short roll as the Pacers know the Heat want to jump the ball handler. Paul George throws an unorthodox bounce pass, but the Heat can't rotate off of Hibbert in time to bother the shooter. The Pacers had great spacing all day, and this time it's Roy Hibbert's turn to short roll down the middle, and when the Heat rotate onto him, he dumps it off to David West for the layup. I just wanted to show you how there were times when Roy Hibbert was completely ineffective out there. Watch how twice he should have set screens, and each time did a miserable job at it. However, LeBron is doing a nice job fronting David West, but is lured into a bad defensive play to double team the ball when his man is one pass away in the post. An easy pass to West, and he knows what to do with it. The Pacers didn't attack strictly with high pick and rolls. Here they run motion until they can hit Hibbert on his favorite left block. While Shane Battier looks more like he's trying to stunt one pass away, he embarrassingly falls down on his way back to his man, which turns into helping one pass away, and Paul George nails the three. The Heat tend to gamble and get way out of position by design, and it really came back to haunt them today as Mario Chalmers foolishly reaches in on Paul George's post move. An easy pass back to George Hill gets him a wide open look. The Pacers wanted to get some movement before running the pick and roll, and it forced Bosh to sink low instead of aggressively trapping. Paul George crosses Bosh over, and the Heat have two players rotate to almost the same spot. This is a mistake, as only one, the guy guarding Luis Scola, should come up to stop the ball. While Chalmers looks like he understands he should be back on his man, Paul George finds Hill wide open, and there's no way for Chalmers to get back and close out in time. You can see how Indiana did run pick and roll sets to lure the Heat into the hard double team, but watch how Norris Cole blatantly helps from one pass away. It should be Birdman's help. An easy pass right in front of Lance allows CJ Watson an open look. The Heat actually adjusted their defense, letting the screener's man sink low instead of blitzing the ball handler, but this appeared to take the wind out of their sails. LeBron should have been on a straight line between the ball and the basket. He allows Lance to penetrate, and Dwayne Wade foolishly helps one pass away. Paul George gets a wide open corner three. LeBron didn't seem to understand how to defend the pick and roll without an all-out blitz. On this one, he sinks low. Watch how he just lets CJ Watson blow by him. Not only that, but he shoves CJ in a similar manner to what Mario Chalmers did that earned him a flagrant. It's crazy there was no foul call and a total Bush League move. And this is a gorgeous pinch post action the Pacers run by sending Paul George around David West in the high post. Normally George would screen for Hill in a high post split action, but LeBron gets too high and to his left, hence terrible defensive position. Awesome read by Paul George and great pass by David West to get the layup. The Heat defense almost always gets out of position on pin downs, but they were a step slow in reacting all day. Watch how Chris Bosh steps out way high to help on Paul George, but then hesitates far too long to get back on his man, who finally gets the ball and finishes at the rim. The Pacers just seemed to catch the Heat off guard all day and didn't have to run too many fancy sets. Here's just a basic 4-2 pick and roll, and Norris Cole has no idea where his man is for at least 4 seconds before Watson cuts to the hoop and Lance finds him on a gorgeous pass. But you did see a focus by Indiana to get side-to-side motion before breaking into some action, like the triangle's corner option, where the wing cuts through and the center sets the ball screen. Because West pops to the baseline, Birdman has to step over in case he needs to close out. This allows Hibbert space to duck in and demand the ball. I do suspect this twisting jump hook from 14 was a total shock to everyone involved. So there you have it, sports fans. The Pacers' offense was incredibly balanced, and I don't know if we're ever going to see that again in the series because it certainly is rare for them to do that at all, and every once in a while you might kind of stumble upon that. I have to imagine the Heat defense will not be nearly as bad as it was today, and what I showed you was just a little taste of how lethargic they were, and their rotations were off, and especially if they're not going to blitz the ball handler like they usually do, it seemed to get them screwed up and not sure what to do. So either they practice for tomorrow and get ready for game 2, or they go back to completely blitzing again, and there were enough terrible looking turnovers. Even though it wasn't high in quantity, some of the Pacer turnovers were really bad. And I have to imagine if the Heat see that in the tape and say, you know what, let's get back to really blitzing and putting the pressure on, that should work. So stay tuned for game 2. We'll see what they do in that kind of, with that kind of adjustment. And don't forget, at B-Ball Breakdown, we're not a channel, we're a conversation. You win.